Not day off in mind. Person where they do even no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, my people make you shout. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come, man of the masses. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, Mayegun diary politico. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ dódódódó. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ dódódódó. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Mayegun ti dé.
Hello there.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. It is Mayegun live.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Bó bá ṣe eré, àní Mayegun máa wí.
Thank you so much for joining me. Share this broadcast, okay? Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them Mayegun today. It's been 30 days. Some are saying that it is renewed shege for now. Some are saying that the senior brother of Shege Banza, is still coming. The last 30 days. President Colos.
Lórí Facebook.
They said don't call them the Agbadomites, just call them the bat idiots. They living in a different world from what reality is, yeah? Share this broadcast. What kind of love the picture, don't you? The Wailing Wailer Season 2 form is out now. A lot of you are going to pick up your forms in the coming days and weeks. Share this broadcast. Thank you. Mayegun today. And if you are joining us just now, please share the broadcast, okay? Subscribe to my channel. I am on the race towards 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Thanks to all of you who subscribed and you stayed back. You never left. I appreciate all your support, I have to say. So tonight, we are picking up on what you can call a review, self-assessment. And if they are not going to do it, or they will continue to do it wrongly, again, numbers don't lie. Last 30 days of Colos the result is out. However, A lot of them are still living in denial, but there are a few things I'm going to say before we get into this. I am not a prophet, and I am not a seer, but I am somebody who loves to live in reality, who loves to live in what you can see and touch and feel, not something that you can imagine, okay? Now, with the trajectory that these criminals have taken in the first place, right? We know where this is headed. But let me make these few statements, okay? There are things that are bound to happen. There are things that are never or likely ever going to happen. From my own small lenses here, yeah? Things that are likely not going to happen. One is to see their courts remove Colos. That will be the news of the century, right? Because since 1979, since they have been having elections in Nigeria and charade and all that, the fraud that followed it, they've never been able to reverse it. That is that, Abi. Now, comparing the criminal, the law, the drug lord is antecedent, right, towards power. Then you can say it is unlikely, not impossible, because I don't want to kind of dash it completely for you. What is also never going to happen is that whatever hardship you are facing in Nigeria today, if they are telling you that it is a sacrifice, give it time, things are going to come back to normal. By the time their policies start taking shape, that is also something that I'm very sure will never happen. What will happen that I'm quite sure of is that, one, a lot of you are going to have to adjust to this new Tinubu era. You would have to adjust to this new style of hardship. A lot of you will have to kind of jump out of the la-la land of expectation right now. You are going to end up on the streets too. You don't see yourself as that right now. Don't worry. They'll push you to that. So which simply means I will be here putting part in part. Call me names you want to, but I will always make you kind of see the reality. I mean, put you in that picture. This is not something that you can say, oh, I just joined that guy's channel and then I thought he was going to give me political. No, I'm not giving you political strategy or anything. No. I'm putting you in the picture because that is what is missing. A lot of us believe that when something is not happening to us, possibly they are actually not happening. Maybe they are just being over-exaggerated. Or maybe it's because they don't even like their people. That is why they don't say anything good about them. Do you get that, right? If it's not happening to you, it's possibly not happening, right? Now, how do you then make you live in reality that, listen, in Nigeria that we know now, the survivors of yesterday, they are the potential victims of today. You see, those who survive today, they are also the potential victims of tomorrow. The victimization or becoming the victim of that failed leadership that is leading to a failed country. The victims, all of us are just victims in the waiting. So what does Mayegun do? What Mayegun does is that I try my best that I take your mind off whatever you think is so important. When you read all these horrible things happening in Nigeria, and you just kind of chuckle, like, well, that's Nigeria all the time, that's them again. Oh, that's very bad. Oh, it's a very bad thing. Oh, great. Well, I'm glad I'm not there and all of that. So what I do is to bring you into that picture in a way that you will begin to see the danger of ignorance, the one that a lot of us believe we could get away with by hiding behind every excuse that we can give in kind of absolving ourselves from whatever is happening in Nigeria. That's what I do, okay? If you are a bigot, hiding behind one Nigeria, one Nigeria. I could put you in your place. In fact, you could put yourself in your place. You will know where you belong. That you are a liar. And if you continue to lie to people, fine. But when you lie to yourself and you begin to believe in lie, you are lying to yourself. I will remind you that you are just a victim in the waiting, just like me. Okay? So in the process, maybe, just maybe, when people begin to see the consequences of their actions or inactions, okay, taking sides because of one flimsy reason or another, pitting yourself exactly where they want you to be in all of their political agendas, by the way, right? So what Mayegu does is, even if you are kind of flowing in all that, that mind, you were right, one Nigeria, pray for this and that, or, whatever you tell yourself. On this platform, I managed to kind of bring you back to reality. And by so doing, right, a lot of people get to see that, oh my God, this whole thing is a charade. It is actually Turn by Turn Nigeria Limited. Nobody really loves Nigeria. If we actually put it in the truest context of it, nobody. Genuinely. In fact, if you ask them who is a Nigerian, a lot of them will give you different meaning as it means to them. Nothing nationalistic, nothing uniting. It is so toxic that it has become like a normal. For example, a typical Nigerian will tell you confidently that Igbos will never become president of Nigeria. And he believes that. Yet, they want one country which is fraud. So what I do is this. Whether they have deceived you by ethnic, whatever, deceived you by religious, whatever, deceived you by any other thing they put you behind that make you feel in that your inner you, that somehow, wherever you are either more advantaged than other Nigerians because of where you come from. What I do is this. For example, when they say, Emi Lokan, Yoruba Lokan, I mean, if nobody is that smart to read history, okay, that out of 63 years of Nigeria's independence, Northern Nigeria has ruled Nigeria for over 45 years of those years. But guess what? The poorest country, the poorest part of Nigeria is Northern Nigeria. What do you call it? The poorly educated region in Nigeria is Northern Nigeria. All right? So what has that leadership done for them? Even though it was meant to be theirs, it was meant to be their turn. 47 years. Think about that. And then the rest, shared by who? Southern Nigeria. Okay? So it is never because of you. So if those ones no work, 8 years of Bukwari, 8 years. Remember? They said because a Southerner was in charge, an infidel Christian was in charge. That was why Boko Haram was expanding, gaining strength in northern Nigeria. Then there came a Fulani Muslim northerner. What happened to the north? Did their life change? Did the topography change? Did anything change in them in 8 years for better? Abi? So it is not your turn. When they say Yoruba turn, they are telling you that it is the turn of your criminals. And if you have no sense of history, Bokwari should serve something very, very so recent for you that you can celebrate, you can jubilate, do all of that. But in reality, where are you? Where exactly did they place you? None of them love Nigeria. You don't treat something you love like that. Ask yourselves. The way you love yourself, or you love your family, or you love anything you actually value in your life today, would you treat them the way they are treating Nigeria right now? Or Nigerians generally? Would you? Is that how you treat something you love? Something that gave you everything? This guy got everything. Everything. Right? So once you begin to see that in Nigeria, they give you tag, Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Christian, Muslim, Northerner, Southerner, APC, PDP, Labour, this, that. All those are the title they give to you just to identify where they want to place you. Today, everybody knows their place. when it comes to that, but there's something that unites everybody. It is the hardship that come from those who are supposed to love Nigeria. They want you to keep sacrificing, but you know it will never come down. The audacity is so daring, and the dance of the people who can see this clearly is so kind of staggering, scary. But on Mayegun's diary political, if you choose to spend your time abusing me, enjoy it. Okay? When you finish abusing me here, defending these criminals, you will go out there and pay 600 naira per liter. Yes, you will pay it. Now, in reality, take a look. In reality today, right? Somebody who told you it will hit ground running, right? Today, nothing else has changed other than the further devaluation of your naira. That's what has changed. Okay? Apart from that, your salary, your earning, they are still what? The same. No plan to kind of reject that. Forget that. Now, today, this is where it takes you to fuel your car. I know a lot of you are making different adjustments and all of that. All right? But this is real life now. Okay? It is quite different from I am trying to, we will show you. You go see shege and all of that stuff that you say to yourselves. This doesn't even kind of discriminate whether you are for Kolu or you are for this and that. All these policies from day one, when they announced them, I was one of those who told you, you will see hell. You better be prepared. And if they tell you that you have to make sacrifices, and they are not making any, right? Anyway, from the reports, the last 30 days, this is the headline of Kalu Okpara. Thank you very much, by the way. I had to put that up or else I'm going to kind of miss it in the comments. Right. So the last 30 days, you've had the fuel subsidy removal, the Forex Naira floating, the pronouncement, I told you, handling of the National Assembly's leadership, this appointment of service chiefs, Emefiele's arrest, proposed VAT on diesel, and all of that stuff. But in reality, the last 30 days of Tinubu being just in charge, making pronouncements that have become, the order of the day, right? So electricity cost has tripled in Nigeria. Fuel prices tripled. It was meant to be 165 naira. But today, they are telling them that they should get ready from tomorrow. You'll be buying your fuel at 600 naira minimum in southern part of Nigeria, while in northern part of Nigeria, it is expected to be at least 700 naira. Now, what this means is that from tomorrow, you are likely going to end up, at least for some time, you're likely going to have to pay as much as 1,000 naira per liter across Nigeria, right? So transportation cost has tripled as well, yeah? Flight tickets in Nigeria has doubled. So these days, most airlines have kind of, doubled or nearly tripled their own flight ticket too. Purchasing power of the people, I'm talking about the money in the pocket of the people, sort of a shrink because they've devalued that as well. This is not even limited to those who are poor people, okay? According to this data, they said all of the billionaires in Nigeria in the last 30 days, they lost half of their money too. So not only you, they feed Tinubu, I tell you, okay? And we are talking about legit businessmen and all that. I know they are telling you that the stock has improved, the stock rise and all of that nonsense, Abi. But in reality, that is not true, okay? So going forward, they said more Nigerians have been plunged into poverty, which is also true. 4 million Nigerians have now shrunk, dumped in that poverty basket. From the, from the available data, right? If this trajectory continues, right, by 2030, right, you will have over 180 million Nigerians living in abject, excruciating poverty. And think about that. Currently, Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world. So imagine if it's actually going to get worse with this trajectory, because more have shrunk into poverty. So then they brought out a scam student loan, a signal to tell you that if you are paying any maintenance school fees in your different federal institutions in Nigeria, so you should go and brace up. You will need to go and apply for student loan, because your school fees are there's going to be tuition now. Okay, so since they have already promised you student loan, so you have no excuse. So you go and borrow money. Once they tell you, once you resume that your next tuition is now going to be 200,000 naira, 180,000 naira, 400,000 naira. So for those who can afford, right, you will have to add that to whatever you have, whatever has also increased in your household right now, in your expenditure. You have to add that, okay, if you can afford it. For those who can't, you need to begin to look for student loan bank, okay, education bank. They haven't started, they haven't kind of opened them yet, okay. They still have to put the law, they build together the law, and then they pass down whatever be, okay. So now if they open the banks, they would have to also wait on a central bank to put money there for your children to be able to access them. And for some people who said, it is easier to become the president of Nigeria than to access the student's loan. Maybe, you would have to brace up for that too. It's part of the announcement. Okay. Now, they said they floated the naira. Floated the dollar, blah, 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 with empty mouth. Okay. So since they made the announcement, they told you, they said it's going to keep going up, and at some point it's going to start coming down. Okay. That is when they have, in their custody, the amount of dollars they want to pump into the market, because they believe that what they need is to look for some dollars, pump them into the market, into the banks, okay? And by so doing, people will have access to them, all right? And they can control how much they will exchange the money for, all right? So just like another Buharinomics, Emefiole strategy, they are doing same, throwing money at it. But guess what? The money is going into what? It's going into the private hands of those. They will select to handle them. You hear about them. You hear so many bogus news that will say things are this or that. But in reality, you will come back to Mayegun and say, Mayegun, you did say it, okay? So from, what do you call it? From tomorrow, the import duty in Nigeria is also going to go up, okay? So to those of you who are into importation of cars, those of you who are into importation of cars and all that, this 40% increase or 40% import duty or so, this is what this means in, literally in this visual context, okay? So if you are bringing any car or taking any cars into Nigeria, it simply means this is what you are paying as extra to what you used to pay. In this case, okay? So all of these are, according to Colos, even before now, he did say, where he kind of advocated for reducing people's purchasing power, and then, expanding the tax net. This doesn't make any sense. I'm not an economist, right? So if you really want to expand your tax net, where would you put the money? You put the money in the hands of the macro and then macro, economy, Abi. Then you go further into a bigger one, manufacturing, where people will get employed in large numbers, and then they get to pay more taxes. Or if you reduce their purchasing power and they have no job, and you are increasing their taxes for those who are paying, I don't understand, but this is what that means, Sha.
And this is where I will stop and appeal to Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the Vice President, and his team. Put a huge question mark on any increase on VAT. Please. If we reduce the purchasing power of the people, we can further slow down the economy. let's widen the tax net. Those who are not paying now, if it is inclusive of Bola Tinubu, let the nets get bigger and we take in more taxes, and that is what we must do in the country instead of additional layer of taxes. For now, I stop there.
So put a question mark on this increased tax, blah, 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 blah. Then he went on to blab about slowing down the economy, purchasing power of the people, and blah, blah, Anyway, whatever that means, they are now happening. So you have a choice, a chance, all right, to begin to brace up for all that still coming. But let me take you through down to Ijebu, where Kolu, I mean, the other day people were talking about his convoy. That why should, in a country where today a lot of people can't even afford to buy the fuel anymore, okay? And so many others are quite finding alternative means of transportation because they couldn't afford the main transportation anymore. And they saw their politicians displayed hundreds of cars in convoy to welcome Tinubu. Anyway, that argument is quite still on when Kolu decided to take a trip down to Ijebu. This time, just to go and say thank you to the people of Ogun State. According to him, he invoked the spirits of Ogun people when he realized that Emefiole and gang, they were about to stop him from becoming president. So this probably is just to go and say a thank you to the Igbaerumoles in Ijebu. We've quite pick a few other things he had to say there. So let's go there, then we'll go to Egba, then we'll go back to Lagos. And we'll go here and there as well tonight, right? So yesterday in Ijebu, where Kolu met with Ogbagba Awujale of Ijebu land, Obasikiru Adetonan. Here, quite mix of Yoruba and English. I'll do my best to keep you up to date on that, right?
Lady Baba President. Few people really emulate your courage, your steadfastness, and your frankness. I just come to say thank you. I made a promise before the primary. I will come back. And there's something Tevani Kimaron. Kino Julet. Ma Julet. Any Kalam Sobe. Malo. Adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run. Pípé ilé ìṣojú ẹ̀mí is enough. Ìgbà tí election kọjá tí ń bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ lórí fóònù òyìn lólẹ̀ agídí lẹ fi dá mi lóhùn but ìjọ tẹ fóònù ìgbé kí n fún yín ní appointment rí mi kémi fún yín ní appointment.
I told you it's kind of a mixture of Yoruba and English there. So what he was saying is, during the primaries and all that, he promised the ruler of Ijebu land that he will come back to see him after the election, right? That the last time he was speaking to him on the phone, That is, it was like, it was like down, like his voice was quite down, and it was, you know. Then the king asked if Tinubu could give him an appointment. He was going to come and see him. So that's when he laughed at, no, I mean, you are an elderly person. I mean, that's your way of saying I should come and see you. So I would rather come and see you. He said more, right?
ẹ sọ fún mi pé ẹ fẹ́ kí n wá nìyẹn o so mi ń bọ̀ òótọ́ ni pé mo ò rí láti ìgbà tá a ti ṣe inauguration ìjọ tá a ti ṣe swearing níṣẹ́ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ó bá yín dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run pé ó ṣojú ẹ̀mí yín orúnkún tó yọ yín lẹ́nu á sàn o Ọlọ́run á tó o Nàìjíríà Ọlọ́run á tó o kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin kábíyèsí àti àwọn olóyè tó wà ní kalẹ̀. I want to say thank you very much. Ogun has been very inspirational for me. It's an homecoming for me. And I owe so much to all of you. So much to thank you for. Because the way you've taken me, the way you've responded to me, all I can say is thank you. May you live long. May you live to see a better Nigeria. Amen. A prosperous Nigeria. Thank you.
Amen. That was where he said that God will fix Nigeria. God will settle Nigeria. But he's quite happy that the Awujale of Ijebu land is alive to witness him becoming president. That is, that is knee problem, that God will fix it, okay? And God will fix Nigeria as well. But there is more. I want you to listen to all of it. I mean, that's what he's been up to in the last few days anyway, in the last few hours. Again, Paulu.
Mike, thank you, my brother, for being here. We are very proud of you and your contribution to the Nigerian economy. Please have your seat. The rest, we're going to talk in privacy. To all the of us, elected officials, and particularly my friend Benga Daniel, well, we are seeing you in a new abode, Abuja. So you will have to be there with us. To many of you, thank you for being there for me and for being there for the country. You've demonstrated so much loyalty, so much commitment, voted at a very crucial time. Your monies were confiscated. The cash swap didn't work. It was terrible then. I realized that. And I came to Ogun State.
You know, that's him talking about Buhari's cash swap, change of naira. Okay, that people were suffering. So he went to Ogun State and then he invoked the spirit of Ogun people. Let's listen to that.
Which we are noted for. I invoked that spirit twice. The spirit of Baba is a Milokan. That's Baba. Being blunt, being incisive, that's him. He will tell you. And the second spirit is that money or no money, I'm Adibo. I'm a Wole. And that, ever since, it's been the spirit that is driving me to serve. I'm honored, Baba. I am honored. I just come to respond to whom calling, saying, I need to see you. Baba, here's your president. It is your son. Thank you. Thank you for everything. I thank God for you being alive to witness today. To witness the results of the election and pray for we, your children. You have an uncommon courage. You gave it to us. You pass it on. You utilize it to serve and to invoke the spirit.
And it was like, oh shit, Shama Tinubu Shama Julamba Elo. I mean, Badwe. I hope you know that inside this place, you go pay. I am from Ijebu, and I have been to Awujale's palace. And traditionally, or by tradition, everybody is son and all that. Okay? But yeah, it was a moment also to quickly cut some, some favor there for those who are present. Or he was able to throw that again to say, the spirit of Emilokon that he said in Ogun State, was from Awujale. And that one was there like, oh shit, oh yeah, my baby trabaye law, you go shall pay. It told you Ben. After all this video, everybody come out, we'll go inside, go talk. Okay? So where I get interest will be seen on my own, and I have my children, my sons and daughters, Ijebu sons and daughters that want to hold this and that in this new enterprise, Nigeria. Àwọn ló kàn Abi, Ijebu ló kàn, Yoruba ló kàn. So the elite and their friends and their sons and their daughters and everybody will have to kind of, that's how it goes. Oh, when they say mi ló kàn, and you say because you are Yoruba ló kàn, wá jẹ́. And you understand better anyway. It's a matter of time. So Awujale was just like, okay, Oshe, continue. I mean, Baba also spoke now. And as a father, I was like, it's true. Now me pass on to you. Now me train all of you to become, good. It's me.
Ẹ̀dá lè ṣe fún ara ẹ̀ yàtọ̀ sí nǹkan tó lọ́n bá fẹ́ sí olúwa ẹ̀
nígbà tẹ́ ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ ọlọ́run gba ọ̀dọ̀ yín sọ̀rọ̀ ní ó ti kà ẹ́ ọlọ́run má yẹ kó kàn wá fara ó yí bíríbírí ó yí kan lé o ó yí bíríbírí.
ó yí kan wá o ṣé ọba mi ó yí kan wá o àánú olúwa yí kan wá kẹ́pẹ́ ọba mi kẹ́pẹ́.
eléyìí gbàtú bá sọdún bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn àfọyẹ.
àmín àmín àmín.
nígbà wíì ọlọ́run àjẹkú bẹ́ẹ̀ o.
àmín.
ọlọ́run àjẹkú bẹ́ẹ̀.
àmín.
ó yí biribiri ó yí kan wá o owó nàìjíríà yí kan wá o ó yí biribiri ó ti kan wá o. If Awujale, that Awujale knee, Kabiesi's knee, they don't treat it in Nigeria. Kabiesi's health and all of that is being taken care of outside Nigeria. Imagine that elderly man, old man, having an medical emergency, and they have to strap him into a car, drag him to Lagos, from Lagos, bump him into a plane, and fly him for another 6 or 14 hours to go and see a doctor and all of that. And that's the reality. Sure, you get, that is what that is. Because politicians who go to his place every now and then, they can't be told or told off. Sure, you get. So Awujale, Kabiesi, Ogbagba. So meanwhile, there was actually a drama of getting Colos there. I don't know if any of you, somebody said this Ijebuton. You see, the elite right now, you don't know how many Ijebu businessmen, politicians, home and abroad, we don't send letter go Awujale Palace. The moment they receive the notification that Colos will come there, that drama of TV, everything, that one will be gone. Awujale would tell them he would take him into his bedroom. That's what he does. If you're a governor or president or anything, the moment they do all those drama and all that, he himself would take you. I mean, he's old now. It's not like he was anymore. So he would take you to his bedroom. That is where you have all the chats. That is where you will see Awujale. And because of your position, whatever Awujale asks from you that moment, if you don't do everything, you go do more than 80% of it. Ask Jonathan. Ask Bokwari. Here you get. And this time around, you see that smile. Oyi biri biri oyi kan wa o. You will still never see good road in Ijebu-Ode. Unfortunately, Ijebu-Ode will still have any good road. Won't still have any, good hospitals. Won't still have any real infrastructure. Ijebu, I am from Ijebu, and you can tell, Well, I mean, I'm just saying. So if you look at that gathering in that Awujale Palace, you will see former minister from Ogun State, former governors, former this, former rep, former senator, former present governor, present this, present that. The people that are driving through the muddy, dusty roads, and the backward state of Ogun State, unfortunately. So, meanwhile, getting Colos down, I mean, he's the press idiot now.
Shift. Keep it there. Go. Hey, side. Hey, shift side. Go.
Ball. You dey hear that flute that from Ijebu? Say, Cabo. Ọmọ abílẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ kílẹ̀ lanu káàbọ̀. Kọlu. Well, after the Ijebu deal, it was, Ojudi Oba today. How many of you are currently at Ojudi Oba or planning to go to Ojudi Oba in Ijebu Day? The best Ileya carnival ever in the whole world. The most glamorous. Yeah? You should try it. Ojudi Oba, 3 days after Ileya. Oh dear. So anyway, without causing any congestion in Ijebu for their party today, so he visited yesterday and then straight to Egba. Those ones actually added a drama. I'll show you. When he got to Alake of Egba, Obagbadebo, who played host to Kolu. So from the entrance, as if I still have that clip. Okay, I do. It was like, bah, but not immediately. Take a look. Somebody said that my ego is happy that Kolu visited Ijebu. That must be sarcasm, isn't it? Oh, I'm so happy he visited Ijebu. No, I am happy that I was talking about Ojudi Oba. And you know what that means? It's just to let you know that outside all of this nonsense and all that, there's actually something that is happening in Ijebu today. And if you have never been there, right? I understand how you probably saw that expression on my face. I've missed that 11 years. I haven't been, unfortunately. So did you see that? Right? Back into that Ake Palace where Kolu. This is the one where like boom, 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 like going inside, not like the first one. No. Listen.
Excellency, sir.
001.
wanted to be called president, and now he's being called president. 001, Jagaba 1, and the rest. Does that not remind you of Sai Baba? Ah, Sai Baba. Sai Baba. Ah, Sai Baba. Sai Baba. Everywhere Sai Baba, Sai Baba. Ah, I don't see amo. Now the Buhari be that. I don't see amo. Ye, omo Sai Baba. Nothing you are seeing right now is new. Unfortunately, people where they shout Sai Baba, remember, some of them are still alive, or some of them, they are alive, but they are walking dead. So, unfortunately, but I mean, some are still alive, okay? And right, in this same lifetime, we saw them call Sai Baba to Kai Baba. Say Sai Baba, hi, Kai Baba. So yeah, Jagabandit, 001, number 1. When the shege hold you tight and you begin to have your deep voice turn to soft voice, Jagaban 1, Jagaban, number 1, 001. Baba, until it choke. And sometimes it can get to this, like, see this transitional from I love them, get them out, to
this is the governor of Lagos State. Are you with me? My friend, do you know what? Use this poster to block all this shit up. APC. This is the governor of Lagos State. So we don't want anybody. APC. You understand? Ashiwaju for president. Ashiwaju for what? For president. Nobody go for Ashiwaju Lekoyi. You're nobody. APC. Continuity. Fuck PDP. Ọ̀rọ̀ máa náwó ẹ̀ o, wọ́n sọ wọ́n ẹgbẹ́ tó bá tán èèyàn ló máa kú, èèyàn kọ́kọ́ ò ní kú o, owó ti tán, ọjọ́ àìpé gàrí ni mo mú, wàá mú gàrí ẹ̀, orí gàrí, wàá mú gàrí ẹ̀ fẹ́ pẹ́. Kò sówó náírà lọ́wọ́ mi, kò sówó kankan lọ́wọ́ mi, gàrí mo mú láti jẹta, sówó kankan lọ́wọ́ mi. This is the governor.
Do you get it now? Do you know that reality is different from fantasy? That's the two words. Reality. Sorry, fantasy. Reality. If it shock you rich, you go stop shouting whatever you are telling yourself. You see, from that strength, from that strong voice. All of them out. To gentle of, if they tell you, say, if money finish, now human being go remain. It's a lie, yo. See, na Garia they drink. There is no human being that remain. My brother. Even when that Gary finished, he had to make a video. That video wasn't like that. Oh, that was him calling for help. In 1 month, just 1 month. Oh. Deceive me. Turn yourself to a prayer mantis. You know that insect that is called a prayer mantis? That prayer, that kokoro where they pray all the time. Now, once one far like that, Otilo, deceive yourselves, tell yourselves all the lies, but internally, Shege Bansa. I'm not sure if this one don't see Shege Bansa or where they complain about 500 naira fuel price. We'll go back to that palace. We'll go back there. Just relieve some laugh if you have to.
Upon all this stress and pains I'm going through, at the end of the day, I'm still seeing my people buy fuel at the rate of 520 naira. And the deal settled, the subsidy was paid till end of July. We are seeing in June, my people are buying the fuel. And you as a new president in the office, you are not saying anything. Are you connected with these people to frustrate masses? Sir, we all drive away from Peter Obi just because we realize that he's a pretender. So if we are not driving away from Peter Obi just because like a pretender, and the road we were facing now, we were discovered that same person that we believe that is going to for masses is the same people is a pretender to us. Sir, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, don't dare us in this country, don't dare us. Some people are not eating. Some people they cannot walk freely just because they are campaigning for you. They use their life to campaign for you. Sir, you can send us to prison, you can do anything, you can arrest us, but we will never let you rest. If you continue selling food at rate of 520 naira and you are not saying anything, we use our life to campaign for you. We do have free movement just because we are campaigning for you. Now you are frustrating us. We need to talk at this point. If you don't have a final say on the marketers to tell them they should stop selling food at rate of 520 naira after 3 weeks in the office. Sir, I am highly disappointed in you. I am highly disappointed in you because I thought after the meeting you are going to instruct them to sell the fuel at 185 naira till ending of July before you decide on what to do. But as I'm talking to you now, we were saying you play the same role of Buhari because we all know that when they dictate for Buhari, they tell Buhari what to do. Now same thing is happening to you, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Let me tell you, we are ready to die with your name. We will drag with you because we use our life to campaign for you and we will never exist. Upon all this stress and pains and
You will die on your own. Let's be very clear. Okay? Everybody know why you won't die, yo. No go die, anybody's die, yo. Are you with me? It's a matter of time. Like I said from the beginning, this is not coming down. That guy is ranting because of 520. The guy may not even get Okada out. But he go eat now. Go out there, go buy things and that. And they have just told him, no, you can't pay that anymore. The price has doubled, tripled because of the price of transportation. And 520 naira is talking about when you are going to pay 800 naira per liter, 1,000 naira per liter. Because what they are trying to make you believe is this. Everything you are doing right now, right? For example, in 2015, when these criminals first took power in Nigeria, you know what they did? Their propaganda machine, they were working overtime, okay? In fact, it was so effective that some people started feeling like maybe not just and they use on them. No, you haven't seen propaganda, or you probably don't even understand propaganda and mind work. But with 8 years of APC, Egbekegbe Bokwari, before social media defeated them, defeated all the propaganda, all the lies, to the point that they were unable to actually come out and push out any lie anymore, except when they come out to fight. Any small thing, they were ready to fight. If you ask them even ordinary question, they become agitated. Social media deflated them, destroyed them. Unfortunately, not everything got destroyed. These criminals, when they took over in 2015, their media said, because Bokwari has removed subsidy, that Nigeria saved 1.4 trillion naira in 30 days. 30 days, 1.4 trillion naira. Last, Nigeria ended up spending over 30 trillion naira on subsidy. Stolen one and 16 trillion actually paid to those nobody knows. Are you with me? The same subsidy they removed and saved money from the first 30 days of 2015. A lot of you have forgotten. It's okay. Stockholm syndrome. That is why these guys are still very much walking about parading themselves as your leaders. The day your Stockholm syndrome is cured, like so many of us, and the large number of people are cured, trust me, I won't even sweat it this much before you hold those criminals responsible. I mean, they are not responsible to anybody. No question, no answer, nothing. If you dare push too much, you will be labeled a rebel, a criminal, or something. Jailed, killed, exiled, whatever. So they are already saying it under Tinubu. They said they have saved 400 billion in 1 month because Tinubu removed subsidy. Somebody said, that's exactly 400 billion they have managed to mop out from all of you, squeezed from you. Because how do you explain this? They said they removed subsidy. Abi? Now, the scale of fueling your car did not just double, okay? They quintuple times 3. as it is right now, nobody explained how you were expected to actually cope or live with this. But in the last 30 days, they forced you to pay so much to God knows who, right? And they break the news that they have saved 400 billion naira. Now that you're going to have it officially hopped, 165 naira per liter to 800 naira per liter. Dollar from 160 naira to $1 to 700, 800 naira to $1. All of these with the ripple effect on the entire economy, your jobs and everything. If you still have a job right now, a lot of you knows that you can only have them for the next few days or few months, maybe another few months. If things continue like this, you'll be jobless because currently you are being told that you don't need to come to work all the time anymore. Maybe you should be working from home. In fact, maybe you should just be working 2 days or 3 days a week because they can't increase your salary. The business will die. They don't want to sack you yet because they need your service, but they can cut it down. So a lot of you are going through that in your small businesses, small job places right now. You have no idea why, Abby. Of course you should if you are smart enough. It is because Colos policy. They said na small sugar you go see. After that, your life go day better. But now let's continue with the jamboree. At least, the president is in town and everybody is, not everybody anyway, but I mean, you were happy to see him, aren't you? This particular one is just like inside, nothing said, but just for the optic. Yeah, and all of that, yapping and all that. But I've got something you could listen to because, I mean, it was ferried back to Lagos, okay, where they organized another reception for him, okay? It's called Homecoming Part 2, the second in 24 hours. Quite, true to cutting costs, sacrificing by everyone. It doesn't show that, that didn't show that they were sacrificing, all right? So yeah, back to Lagos, he made some statement too. I couldn't get one up where he said he could have easily just asked for his own share of the subsidy money instead of removing it. Like just make it business as usual and cut his, but God forbid. Everywhere they go right now, you will think saying that God you voted for because everywhere they go, they say God will do it, God will do this. People need to know that God will be, you know what I mean? Like, you voted for God. Anyway, so they took him back to Lagos where he made other kind of assertions. And I want to play one before we go to the merry-go-round and all that drama that happened inside that place, if you don't mind.
I made a promise before the Papa to pray. I will come back to thank you for because the way you've taken, the way you've responded to me, all I can say is thank you. May you live long. Amen. May you live to see a better Nigeria. Amen. A prosperous Nigeria. Amen. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, my brother, for being here. We're very proud of you and your contribution to the Nigerian economy. The rest, we're going to talk and privacy. To many of you, thank you for being there for me and for being there for the country. You've demonstrated so much loyalty, so much commitment, voted at a very crucial time. Your monies were confiscated. The cash swap didn't work. It was terrible then. I understand. And I came to State to invoke the spirit of freedom for which I invoke that spirit twice. The spirit of Baba is a miracle. That's Baba. Be blunt, be incisive, that's him. They will tell you. And the second spirit is that money or no money. How much? And that ever since it's been the spirit that is driving me to serve and honor. I am honored. I just come to respond to whom calling.
What we had the last time. However, indeed, let's actually go to Lagos now. Okay, so Sanwo-Iku, or should I say Lagos State government under Sanwo-Iku organized this for Kolu. Then it was kind of another reunion for all of them who had been governors in Lagos, in that kind of moment of saying, look at our achievement, let's see what we have done, see what we, you know what I mean? This is our example, kind of, right? And Ambode was there too. I'll show you. 1 sec. And then I think I had a place where Ambode went to go and greet Kolu on their stage, where have you? But there's also a particular speech which Kolu made at that place that I'm quite trying to pick up, to put up. But while I bring that up, right, or wait to bring that on, yeah, INEC is expected to return to court in the next 3 days, okay? So which is going to be the time to come back and then defend the numbers they announced for Kolu. So the defense period or their schedule has put up, right, is this. So the first respondent, INEC, will be on the show to tell you know, to tell the whole world how Kolu won. But there is this guy, Festus Okoye, who seems to be going on a media propaganda tour, lying. I mean, you all saw what happened, you witnessed what happened, or we all saw what happened, okay? However, these guys are telling themselves something different. Is